see if I can
It's
get
all
it.
good.
Man, you watch Loki yet?
Nah, I ain't. I mean, I did watch a little bit, but I just got up and got dressed and then headed out. So I was like, I ain't watched the rest.
Oh, okay. Frank said he was ready. I'm trying to see if I can call him right quick. Let me see. Deontay said he probably won't be able to make it on. Let me see if I can call Frank.
I was gonna buy it the other day.
Bro, you got to because they just came out with part
Oh,
for
I was just about to
two.
say I didn't know if you were trying to get on. I want to know if you can join in with us.
I got you. I'm joining right now.
Oh, you can join in. All right, cool for sure. All right. All right, please say joining right now. Make sure everything is recording.
Yeah, you gotta get it solo. They on the Trunks future right now.
Yeah. Let me grab some. Let me see.
Big Frank,
What up, fam?
out here living this Cali life.
Boys, what you eating on right now?
Korean barbecue.
Oh, for sure. Man, bruh. I see you was on Call of Duty earlier. Something was wrong. I don't know what was on my wife. It start working now, but I'm about to.
Man, I was mopping on the gun game, bro. I was always top 3, like I always do. Let me move this over here.
You should have been with us on there yesterday. We was on there. It was a couple games. We was getting whooped, but we had some up and down games. But it was lit though.
3 wins, 2 losses. It's all
Done
good.
down here though.
It's good. I was up working all last night, bro. Don't even worry about it.
Man. Yeah, boy. So I was about to say. So who haven't? So man, you said you don't even want to haven't seen Loki yet.
I ain't seen the rest of it. I seen like the beginning of it.
Okay, for sure. Well, if that's the case, you gonna tune in for this spoiler alert then if that's the case.
I don't care, bro. I'm still gonna watch it.
Surely, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, the way how this episode, especially in terms of the first episode and the last 3 shows we've been watching in terms of Marvel, this definitely like just the first 5 minutes already was taking me back. Like it was already giving me goosebumps. It was taking me back to like the first Avengers and all like that. So, and it's like this is like the first villain that we kind of like in terms of the first big villains that we got in the MCU. So it is crazy to see like that 2012 Loki again, from that perspective, because we've seen such an evolution with his character, from the Thor movies and Infinity War. Yeah, bro. Yeah, that
What
balance.
y'all think of it?
What were you about to say, bro?
What y'all think of that intro scene? Like I know that personally it was pretty much going over reviewing all that had happened in the last few phases, I guess, in the last few stuff, and I was a little not happy that they just got him so easily. I was like, damn, one hit and he was just captured. I was like, come on, Loki.
But it's like, that's one thing about Loki. He always try to make you believe like you won, like what I'm saying. Like he is like a manipulator. He always try to find he always just finds a way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing about Loki. You cannot sleep on him because even if you feel like you defeated him, it's like he always got some up his sleeve, like every time, like So
Yeah.
it's hard to like count him out. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of like. I feel like in terms of what you're talking about in terms of like the first Avengers when they had the Tesseract, like, cause he obviously should have known something bigger was happening when he knew he had to just get one of the stones. That was like one of his orders. So he knew something big was gonna happen, but he didn't. And like in terms of like going to episode where he didn't know that he was gonna like leading up to his death and all like that, but. He should have known how big the situation was getting if he he had to bring a Tesseract to Thanos. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but it's
spoiler alert for anybody who ain't watched it, I guess.
Whatever, bruh. I'm gonna watch it anyway.
I'm gonna say, yeah. I'm gonna definitely say, I was It was nice how they kind of threw like the different like little pieces out there, like little hints, like how Miss Minutes like pretty much was talking about like what Loki had did pretty much could like cause a rift and cause a multiverse, and like how we're pretty much getting into that type of like I guess that in Infinity Saga, and then with the Eternals coming in and stuff like that, I feel like it's gonna like tie so much stuff in, and now we get into like the cosmic stuff because now we got the TVA, TVA involved. You got the Watcher. You got Living Tribunal, different things like that. Where it's like, all that's coming into play now. So I kind of just want to know exactly how they're gonna, tie all this stuff in, but at the same time, why? Because my thing was like they they needed Loki to find Loki in the past. So I'm just like, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. It was just so weird to me. But then also what caught my attention was the fact that the little girl, remember when freaking Owen Wilson, when they, I guess, went to like 15, 23 or 16 something, whatever.
Yeah.
And for the chapel or whatever.
I was a boy.
And then all of a sudden, the little girl came in, and then he was like,
I was a boy, Solomon.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was a girl. I ain't gonna
Little
lie.
boy.
I thought it was a girl. I ain't gonna lie with you.
Oh, really? It was a anyway, whoever it was, right? Nah, but like they pointed to the mural, and it was like the devil, like Satan. So I was like, what the heck? I'm like, are they like teasing Mephisto again, or what? It was weird. Or is that a symbolism for Loki? Like I don't know.
Loki
Like
is
it's
the
kind of like,
horns. Who knows?
right? Right? That's why I'm like, I don't know. It was like, so I'm like, are they looking for Loki? Are they looking for something else? And then they showed the ancient one. So I'm like, I'm like, okay. Like,
Right. It's so much.
Do you guys think they lying about the villain that they're looking for being Loki? The reason why I ask is because, from what I understand, all the Lokis from the timelines, which are technically two, one is gone and one was there.
exactly.
I wonder where would they be able to pull another Loki from, and if so, why doesn't he have this also? As we know, the Loki that was in the current mainstream had turned good. He had redeemed himself by becoming a good guy as Guardians. And we also know that current Loki has also turned good by realizing his destiny.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof. I guess he thought he had a whole destiny, but he really didn't. He just was going to die.
Yeah, exactly. He thought he had a greater purpose, but that was short lived.
Yeah, bro.
So I mean, I don't know, man. And then I don't know, man. I don't know.
But you think because remember when they said he was you remember when they said he was arrested like for his crimes against like the sacred timeline, like do you think that plays a part in like where that other Loki is at, like because where they was saying like basically when he had to go to the court and everything, where they was talking about how he was arrested for the crimes, like I don't know, was that based off the current timeline he was at, or that could have been based off like something else where he could have messed up the timeline and everything.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I think it's the fact that he like pretty much created a different reality in itself is the reason why he got dragged there, because that apparently like
so many different Loki
pretty much called the rift. But I don't know what's happened before, because apparently something must have happened before, because they said if you throw off the time or whatever, it'll cause a multiverse, blah 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 blah, and that's what they're trying to prevent. But I don't know. I'm wondering, like, did it happen before?
Maybe this Loki. Oh, go ahead, Solly.
No. I was pretty much, yeah.
I was thinking to myself, okay, we know one thing. Whether this person is Loki or not, this person knows about the TVA, knows about their protocols, knows about their weapons, and knows about their process, because he knew how many people would come, he knew where they would come, and he knew what kind of weapons they would bring, which is why they brought which is why they brought that little time reverse thing, and he or she took it. You know,
Yeah.
if it is Loki, it must be like a future. Like it must be not to confuse y'all. It must be this Loki currently, but in the future. Like in the future, that Loki escaped TVA. You know, found out his new destiny and probably wanted to get back at TVA.
Yeah, that's a pretty good theory because
It would have to be. I mean, I
time
don't know.
involved. I mean, anything is possible, really. Especially like, yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I agree. Like, pretty much piggybacking off what you said, Frank. Like is what the current events that happen that we're seeing right now, is that something that's totally different? And they need Loki's help. In the alternate reality. You know what I'm saying? Because he did something or caused something like crazy to happen, and like they need answers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's a pretty good. I guess something to look forward to. I kind of want to see where the next episode is gonna like kind of pop off and take place, and like what we'll see. Because this one was just kind of like informing us, obviously, of what happened. Where Loki is, and what I guess who they're trying to catch.
Yeah, bro. Cause it was something that.
I wonder, like.
Oh, my fault. What you about to say, bro?
Go ahead, T.
Nah, cause I remember something that always stuck with me when Tony Stark said, "If you mess with time, it messes with you back. It comes back on you. If you mess with time and everything." And like you were saying when they was talking about the little TVA thing with the the timekeepers and all like that, how they control like the flow of time, everything. Like it seemed like where this direction going with Marvel now, it's like most of the like celestial beings, like you said, the Eternals, like anything that has anything to do with like time or anything that beyond it that probably could like mess up the time going forward, So like I feel like Loki definitely plays a part in that. Like we said, we don't know what Loki got up his sleeve, Like I think that's what this whole show was about. Like it's like we don't know.
And another thing,
right?
Yeah. Another thing, bro. And I guess, and hopefully they'll kind of explain this maybe in this show. Who knows? Because with the Eternal movies coming out, obviously they're eternal, so they're godlike beings, and maybe stuff is different. Like maybe time is different where they are, because it's like they knew about Earth, they knew about the 9 realms, they knew about all that stuff, but it's like where they at? You know what I'm saying? Like were they in and out of time, or like what I'm saying? Because they all have different abilities. Like it's like I don't know. So hopefully we get some explanation of like, okay, why did they intervene? Or is this past, present? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it is starting.
I think the show will kind of explain that, and then we'll, I don't know.
Nah, cause I feel like in this episode it kind of explained a little bit, because like it shows like, just for instance, like when you seen the Infinity Stones in that file cabinet, like it shows like how much like based off this TVA, like from their perspective, like they basically watching everything that's going on based off like we watched through the MCU like this whole time. So it's like there's basically something beyond even like the world that we watching on Loki that we don't know about yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like
exactly.
It's like I feel like them snapping their fingers and doing all of that. Like it's just we just seeing more of a bigger world than what we expected it to be. You know what I'm saying? Like we just seen it from more, like you said, like from the timekeeper's perspective and all like that. Because at first we were just based off like just regular Earth, when it was just based off like the Battle of New York and Asgard and all like that. But now we seen so much war that's happened. Like now we seen like it's bigger than what we thought it was. Where it can bring just new characters or just like you said mutants and all like that. Like I feel like it's getting to that direction now.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I mean, I want to know what that meant. Like the fact that the Infinity Stones was gathered in a drawer, like with the maintenance dude. Like I'm wondering, like.
See, that makes me wonder, what somebody that like that's coming to the MCU now or is necessarily connected to the Stones, like the Eternals, or even like more the people that say that's related to the Eternals is connected to these Stones, because it's like. How can these people like how can these people like in this world like can just having a file cabinet like this? It's basically something that can destroy like time. You know what I'm saying? Like they destroy the Earth, I'm like, reality. So just like if you
it's
can
like
see stones that's like that,
like,
just imagine what other power that's out there besides the Infinity Stones.
Right. And also, since it's like a time thing, I was wondering like they have like once the Infinity Stones got used, right? Because remember when Thanos said he used the stones to destroy the stones, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, you know, that time under that reality, apparently, that he made afterwards, right? I'm wondering, like, did a supreme being be like, we need to not have these stones where anybody could get them because stuff like this might happen, and then gathered the stones and took them to took them outside of time where you can't even use a time stone to find it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Like that part kind of had me question because I'm like, were they collected and put in a file cabinet outside of time for like a punishment, or like, was it just like, or was it just going to show to like, okay, the stones really don't mean nothing here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where.
I think that scene was mainly to show that whoever created that realm is more powerful than the stones. Because they created, you have to understand, it's not just out of time. That's also out of reality, out of space, like
everything.
Anything that the stones touch, which are 5 constants of the universe, that place is not a part of.
Exactly.
Which is, it's a little confusing because it's like, if it's not a part of the universe, what is it a part of?
Exactly.
I think that I'm starting to think that the 3 people is the living tribunal.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think that the living tribunal, which exists kind of like above the Marvel universe, they kind of like exist kind of like if they were the creators of it. They kind of exist above it. And if you remember, all the workers and employees that work at TVA were created. They kept saying, I was created to do this job.
Right.
I don't know what a fish is. I was created here. So I'm starting to think it's kind of like, God, the living tribunal, and his angels and the people he created to do certain tasks.
Right? Exactly. And like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, man. Because I'm like, basically, outside of everything, like time, space, reality, whatever, bro, you have only a few beings. Like you have the Limit Tribunal, you have the Beyonder, you have the one above all. Like, which I don't know.
They might be diving in that now.
Yeah. But you think
right?
Because remember when he said like, eventually he has to go back to that current timeline. But the fact is, he's literally seen how his life went. When he went through all them flashback scenes and like that. Would that basically be like the point where it's like he can make another way where he can break the timeline again, just based off the fact that he knows more about his basically he just knows about his demise and all like that? Because like, for instance, I'm trying to think. And if you remember, it was more than like 6 Infinity Stones that was up in the file cabinet too. So
yeah.
So it's like you don't know necessarily like what that could have necessarily caused, or even for like you said, like where secret invasions come in, like where that can bring back the characters that we thought that was dead, like
exactly.
I feel like that could be another way, like, because half of the story basically invasions, like most of them characters, I think they got killed off, but they came back. It was like through just a multiverse,
Exactly.
So I think
that's
man. Probably how we'll eventually see it, but just with Loki. Which is crazy because, like, to show that the Tesseract wasn't necessarily even valuable there, like, it shows you, like, what's more, like you said, it is, basically the people in that stuff was created where he was at.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Now that really got me wondering now, okay, so that has to be, like, it has to be characters based off time, like Kane the Conqueror and all like that. They probably have to come in to, like, set things straight with the timeline and everything, because if that's the case, Loki going to most likely break even more going forward. That's the case. Even what he's doing now, even with the detective Mobius, I think that's his name. He's basically breaking protocols. He's breaking rules for what he's doing right now. Like Loki was supposed to be reset at this point. Like he basically broke rules where he's supposed to be resetted back to the original time. Like at this point, like he's basically a dangerous asset. Like where they at right now, So that can break even more rules to that.
Yeah, and that's honestly what's gonna happen. I already know this is the setup because they already doing Spider-Man, No Way Home, you know, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Like this, Loki gonna do something or be a part of something that's gonna mess up everything. That's kind of already like predicted because I mean, there's no other way really.
Right.
Like they wouldn't have like a multiverse or anything like that if something didn't happen crucially
Right.
with this story.
I have a question that the question just came in my mind right now. If they could reset the timeline, why are they punishing Loki? If they could just reset the timeline with the little bomb thing, the timeline that he messed up with, by taking the Tesseract, why don't they just reset it?
They was, I mean, that was the plan, but the agent was. It's like he want more information out of him for some reason, which I don't know why where it's coming from. I'm starting to believe like he knows more than what we expect, in terms of like behind like Loki schemes and all like that. Cause it's
I think so.
Yeah, I think.
Remember the judge? You remember the black chick that was judging them pretty much and was like, basically, we're done with you. We're just gonna send you back, and then your story is just gonna play out how you want it to play out.
Right.
Pretty much, like.
Oh.
But then the dude was like, nah. He was like, I'm gonna need him for something. But the dude knows something. Like the dude,
bro.
I don't know.
That just made me realize something though. Did you peep? Because what you just said, that's basically the same thing that happened on the first Avengers with Black Widow when she tried to like manipulate him like of his schemes, but it still worked if you think about it. Even she still figured it out. It still worked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he still find a way to make it still work against the Avengers. Like exactly how this situation worked, where it was like I'm aware of his schemes. I know what he's aware of. You know what I'm saying? But it's like he still found a way to escape out of that room and to get the thing off his neck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if that's the case. He's gonna find a way to break the timeline again. All he needs to do is just find just more behind this mission behind TVA. Once he knows more about that, that's all he needs to know. So he'll find a way to break it again. But in terms of this mission that the person they're looking for, it could be necessarily like because I was hearing that there's I don't know if there's true. It's like a lady version of Loki that's from the comics and like that. She's kind of like this version too. Yeah, I don't know if they was gonna go in that direction because it seemed like whoever that person was it had to be a witch if it's from anywhere between the 15 or 1800s. Like it looked like it was so obvious that it had to be a witch. So I was thinking it could be either the lady Loki or I was thinking Agatha, but it was just like I felt that was kind of far fetched a little bit because it's like we did see a witch, but it was like the timeline was way off, right? So it's kind of like I really want to necessarily know or attention.
That's remember. We have to think of it in two planes. It's not just time. It's time versus reality.
Exactly.
So we know that there could be multiple realities and that the TVA can access them. So when it says like they went back to 1584, whose reality was that? When they went back to all these places, it might not be the main continuity's reality. It might be a reality where you said that Lady Loki lives, or a reality where, maybe Loki did see.
Yeah.
Maybe he did see for real. They got all the stones. Who knows?
That's true.
For real. Yeah.
All I know is whoever manages TVA is hella discriminatory or prejudiced because everybody that messed up the timeline in the end game and Infinity War, only he got in trouble. That's messed up.
They said the same thing about the Watcher, like in terms of like comics in general. Like that's basically how like the Watcher is like that's how the people look at the Watcher like in the Marvel universe, like how he look over everything, like basically how the time flows and everything, how everything goes. But it seemed like how in this one, the MCU, it's like how they using the timekeepers, like how to like keep control of the multiverse, how everything flows. Like he says, like I think something has to break again where we'll see more of that, like in terms of like they'll let us know, like they'll basically let the Avengers or whoever that's out there is breaking the time, like what they need to do to keep things in contact or in order, because that can basically kill off everything. That can basically mess up everything to a point they can't reset things back.
Yeah, I think. You know what? I mean, I have two reasons because I was thinking that too, Frank. Like why, when it came to Infinity War and obviously Endgame, like when they went back in time, all sort of stuff. I have two reasons why they probably went like why Loki got caught. I guess I'm thinking because first off, when they went back in time, like they were going they were going back in time. I think like them going back and not like changing what already happened because like pretty much like they went because I remember Bruce Banner explained it. He was like when you go back in time, what happens there doesn't become the past, but if you change something, it pretty much won't change unless like because I remember I forgot how he explained it, but
he was saying that if you go in the past, if you think that you're going to go in the past, change something, and that your future would be different, that's incorrect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You go into the past and change something, it changes the past.
Exactly.
And creates a new future that you never lived yet.
Exactly. So I'm thinking like, and then also at the end of Endgame, I'm thinking like, they didn't get in trouble or anything or get caught because since they went back in, time, whatever, and they just collected certain things. I think it's when Loki left because pretty much that pretty much changed reality then. Because when they went back to New York, even though they were collecting stuff and coming back, Loki had disappeared. But that pretty much altered the future because it's like, okay, well, Loki pretty much died, but now he's not here anymore, and that never happened. Like the whole thing where he never seen his mom. His mom died. He never seen like anything happen. He didn't know about Hela, none of that. So I think, and then also Cap. When Cap went back in time, he put all the stones back in the correct places. So I'm thinking maybe that's why, or it's because whoever's dimension that is, whatever, knows how crazy Loki is and was like, like you said, discriminative, like, nah, like, we can't let him, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like the only thing I can think of, really, of why he got caught and, like, they was like, nah, we got to reset you. Like,
because out of, like, the 10 to 15 people, he was the only one.
Yeah. Have you noticed, like, any Avenger he turned into is always Captain America? Have you noticed that? Like, if anybody he'll try to transform himself into, it's always Captain America. Even, like, in the second Thor movie and, like, in this one, like, I wonder if that's, like, something like that's going to be teased later on. Because I feel like, if that's the case, like, we know he can turn to literally anybody. But why is, like, he always show himself as Cap? Like, it's always. I wonder if there's a reason behind that. I don't know. I just want to throw that out there.
Possibly. I don't know. But, I mean, it's interesting. The first episode was confusing. But I'm sure as time goes on, things will be more clear, hopefully. but I am pretty excited to see who he's looking for, and then all the other characters that they bring in, especially involving, different, something that's a whole different dimension. You know what I'm saying? Like, outside of time, reality, space, and just everything. So.
Now, yeah,
I don't know, man.
Well, I do like where it's going now because it seemed like most of the movies, like, that's coming out now, like, it was crazy, like, the shirt, like, I got on now, like most of these villains right here, like, Zemo, and it seemed like most of these characters we about to see, like, I want to say necessarily come together, but it's like their stories is coming into the MCU now, like, because they saying that we could possibly see, what's his name, like, Green Goblin, and the what's his name, William Dafoe as well, Green Goblin. We probably going to just see, like, where some gonna happen to the timeline where them people that we seen in them, like, the previous, like, Fox movies and like that, they gonna come back probably. I don't know if it's, I'll say the Spider-Man movie and the Doctor Strange too. Like, I think where something happens where we'll see that, where something happens in the timeline, we'll end up seeing them again. So you basically have to see Spider-Man and all like them go against them again. Like, basically what we wish we could have seen how number 3 turned out in 2007. Honestly, because bruh, that third one was so crazy back then, bruh.
Yeah, they gotta bring back that freaking that Rami score. The first movie, they gotta bring back that song.
Yeah, I'm hoping
they got to.
But I mean, it's been a cool journey so far watching these shows though, because it's like they trying to, like, it feels like Phase 1 all over again. It's like they trying to build up for something more like a bigger like villain that's more out there. Cause it's like the fact that we brought like Loki back and everything like that. It kind of is cool. It's kind of just giving you just a memory back to everything we went through, just all the phase and everything. So it's been cool.
Yeah.
What do you think is the reason why this mysterious villain or the mysterious whatever will be changing. What do you guys think he or she is doing this for? What I mean by that is, like, you see them attacking the TVA, you see them systematically attacking this TVA at that. Like, why would someone do that? Like, what's the purpose?
Yeah, I really want.
Right?
Yeah,
They're systematically attacking them constantly. The dude said this is the 6th time this week. That means that's at least 6 days out the week that he owned them.
Right? Hey, bro, see, think about it, bro. The little devil thing, right?
Yeah, I seen that.
And it makes it 7 days out the week. He did them in 7 days out the week because he did them at the end of the episode. So that's 7 days. So this question begs, what is the motive of this mysterious person?
I don't know, man. That's because it's like basically. I mean, we can easily say that they're trying to. I mean, we can't say like, oh, they're trying to change time because that's kind of like.
Yeah, because I was like, based off that, that's not the case with TVA. That's why
exactly.
I don't really necessarily know.
I mean, like, that's not that difficult.
But it's the fact that Loki is there, like it's trying to like a way to bring like Loki's attention in. Cause it was like, why the dude was so.
Maybe this. Oh, go ahead.
Nah, cause it's like, why is it that dude was like, he was so aware of Loki, the agent Mobius, like why it was like he needed him to be there to fix this out. But even though he did say it was supposedly you or something like that, but we don't necessarily know that. It's Loki, bro. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like we don't necessarily know who was behind this. It's like a whole mystery when it comes to this character, bro.
I'm thinking maybe the person's motive, like maybe the person that's dealing with, or I guess, killing off, certain members of the TVA, obviously knows about the TVA and everything, and like knows operations, like you said, and maybe they're trying to either go back and fix something or go to the future to change something. Maybe like that's my only like thing. Like maybe whoever it is trying to change either the past or the present in some way, shape, or form. Like that's my only opinion, because it's like, why would they be hopping from different timelines trying to find this person? Like if the person wasn't like that big of a threat or something, then then they probably wouldn't even trip, and they'd be able to get a hold of them. But or whoever it is, he, her, it, whatever.
Right. That's what makes me wonder if we gonna end up seeing these characters again, because like even going back to Endgame, like how Thanos basically watched his own death like through like Nebula's like machine and all like that, and just how Loki seen that. It's like everybody's like seeing their own demise and all like that. It's like he's like resetting everything back. I wonder if that's how Black Widow is gonna be. But the difference with her is she literally sacrificed herself for the stone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know how that was gonna necessarily play out in that, but it just seemed like each person that has the connection to the Infinity Stone, like it's like we're just seeing the evolution throughout their character and all like that, from the beginning all the way to the end. Like it's just with Loki, it's different with him because this between Falcon and Wanda and Vision like that. Like we seen Loki from the very beginning. Like he was the one that brought the Avengers together when they killed Coulson. Like that was the one that started them like becoming like, we need to avenge the world for this. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the one that actually brought them together in the first place. So it's like this was centerpiece. Like he's like the middle centerpiece between everything that literally happened. To be honest, because it's like he the one that was the first one that made it jump off. So I'm like, he's definitely plays an important part, even in this multiverse. He has to be, because it's like it all started when he came to Earth, and it's like if you look at Tony Stark now, he's basically like the savior of the universe at this point now. And it's
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And if you think about it, that was basically his fear when his fear that whole time leading up to his death was based off what Loki did in that first Avengers. So it's like it's all circling around. I just feel like it's just all. Like,
That's true.
I guess Loki gave us the Avengers, and Avengers gave us, the Avengers saved the world, or the whole universe, or multiverse at that point, at that time.
Right. Because
I think that the motive of the mysterious assailant, the motive has to be somewhat like either conquering or maneuvering the different realities. The reason why I say that is because at the beginning of the whole show, they start off with a little cartoon infomercial talking about why the TVA exists. And it talks about how like back in the day, there was this massive inner reality war, and how all that happened, and the TVA was created to bring peace to the main continuity of the timeline. I figure if you attack or try to defeat someone whose job is that, you're probably trying to do the exact opposite. So if someone's trying to keep peace or keep the continuity of the timeline, you're probably trying to throw it in chaos or conquer it.
Yeah, become a tyrant, pretty much.
Right. And in my mind, the only person I can think of who has the balls to do that is Thanos.
Yeah.
Kang the Conqueror, or somebody like who has the balls and also like the willingness. Because I would say like Galactus and stuff like that, but Galactus don't care about that. Galactus wants to
just
eat
consume
everything.
it, right? He just consume worlds and everything.
Probably
right?
Noel, honestly.
Yeah.
Noel is the only other character besides.
It's like basically most of the villains that like to mess with reality and time and all like that. And like you said, it's like Kang, Thanos. It's definitely a couple more out there. I'm just trying to think of the names, but
there's a couple more out there too. Yeah, I can't think of them right now.
Yeah.
I would say Sinister, but he's necessarily from the X-Men, so I won't necessarily say him. But I'm trying to think. There's another dude.
Well, I mean, his goal. Actually, well, Apocalypse really hit. His goal was like that too. He wanted to be the ruler, pretty much the god of Earth.
Right. Yeah, but pretty Earth much the universe. One of the thousands of planets of one reality. Yeah. I think that's a small goal, technically.
Yeah, but I take that back because he actually had I think it was Earth, and then when he went to space, because you know how he has the celestial armor. Because you know when he started off, he didn't have that. When he came back from space, he had the celestial armor, and his goal was to pretty much be ruler of the universe. And that was, I mean, we never really see what truly happens because he's never really been like killed off by the X-Men or anything in the comics. So, but I mean, again, I just don't think that would be.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be Apocalypse. He's not.
Possibility. It's just a long shot for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's X-Men. They haven't really brought in any X-Men characters like that besides like Wanda and people like that. But yeah, I don't know. Probably honestly, the only reason why I say Noel, the symbiote god, is because that was his thing too. I mean, the fact that he became the Void. Well, the Void. I remember he killed Sentry, which is crazy. And pretty much the Void was free, and he absorbed the Void, and he pretty much came to Earth to pretty much kill off Earth, like just pretty much get them up out of there. And then with the whole Thor, love of whatever, the love of God or the God of Love and Thunder. Gore is supposed to be, the main antagonist.
That's
who was created by Noel. Yeah. And he becomes the God Butcher, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. So I don't know, bro. Like it's I don't know where they're gonna kind of put that stake, but.
So that means, because I was about to say, when he comes in, don't that create the spider dimension too? When Noel come in, when he try to fight all the symbiotes and all like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's also I was thinking too, because they is bringing like the multiverse, like Tobey Maguire and all like that into Spider-Man. So I'm like, is this like basically the way how they gonna create the spider dimension like that with the different versions of they talking about it could be like the Spider Woman and all like that too. So I mean, it could be that because you already got Carnage and you already got Venom coming into the MCU eventually, so I'm like,
but yeah, so that's and that right there itself is a multiverse completely. So it's not too far fetched to say it's him, because man, bro, I mean he's another one of those characters. He's more newer, like I mean from what people know, but his abilities, bro, is like don't make sense to me. Like he's dang near just as powerful, if not more powerful than Galactus, which I think is kind of dumb, but man,
you're probably not gonna make him that powerful.
Yeah, they're gonna definitely tone him down in the MCU, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, most
they can't make people like Sentry accurate. it's just too much.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, he
Exactly.
basically like Superman, bro. That's why I'm like, they definitely have to tone down Sentry, bro.
Bruh, honestly, bro, he
But
works, bruh.
you know who else
Like,
we I
what?
forgot about? What happened with Adam Warlock? Was they supposed to bring him in eventually, something
Yeah,
like that? Like, I don't know, bro.
he's supposed to be in Guardians 3, but
Yeah,
who
because
knows?
I was
He's
right.
supposed to.
It don't seem like they haven't brought too much up about him. It seemed like I don't know why. And he's like one of the most important characters of the Infinity Gauntlet, which I'm like, I was surprised they didn't bring him in.
More.
Infinity Wars, period. He's
Was he actually
supposed
one of
to
the ones
be-
that it like wield the
Yeah.
gauntlet? Like I was about to say, was actually one of the ones that can wield it? Like,
Yeah. Well, first off, Vision kind of took his spotlight, really, because he's the one that had the Mind Stone.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
that is true. Yeah,
You know, that's how
Vision took his complete character.
that is true. Yeah. Man, that is. I don't know. It's just
I mean,
even
there's
the
a
fact
lot
it's
of
introduced
rumors
through
saying that
Guardians.
he
is-
will be in this next Guardians movie, and that there's people like they're getting people to, I guess they're finding actors for him. I heard Zac Efron was supposed to be him. I don't.
You talking about the dude from High School Musical?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. In a little like custom outfit they did, he did look pretty legit as Adam Warlock. I'm not gonna lie, but
I mean, bro can act, I guess, but I've only seen him in comedies, really.
yeah, so I don't know how they'll do that, but I know he was a run up for it, and then there was another actor. He's not too known, but he looked decent. I mean, he looks like, if they get him the makeup and stuff in the outfit, he'll look proper. But again, if his acting's on point, I don't really know how Adam Warlock is as a person, because I know he's a creative being, so I don't know if he would be like how Vision was, kind of awkward, but like, I don't know. Like, so I guess it just depends on how good the person, whoever they pick, acts him out. But he's supposed to be in the Guardians 3 movie. We'll see. Just like Thor is. Hopefully, man, we see people like, I don't know, bro. Like, hopefully we see some Inhumans or like Beta Ray Bill or something.
Bro, they saw out of pocket how they gonna mess up Inhumans, but they want to go with Eternals, bro. That makes no sense to me, bro. Like, it's like how they mess up Inhumans, but they want to move. That's why I'm so confused off this Eternals movie. It's like they try to make it seem like we supposed to like invest in these characters so much, but it's like, bro, what is their importance to this? That's why I'm like, I'm hoping this Loki show explain more of that, bro. Because it's like, where do they come from? I can understand the cast, everything, but it's like,
I don't think they will, because I don't think most of the show is going to even occur on Earth.